This is a bonus video. I want to get the Spectrum font, and the way to do that is it resides in the Spectrum ROM as the last 768 bytes of RAM, of ROM, I should say. So if we take a calculator here and go to standard, and then we do 768, and then each row is 1 byte, so we divide that by 8. That gives us 96 characters. So that is the Spectrum character set. And I think it goes from 32 ASCII, which is space, all the way to whatever it goes to. That would make sense actually, because plus 32 would give us 128, which is spot on. So it's 96 visible characters that we get. Now, like I said, it's taken from the top part of the Spectrum ROM. So the Spectrum ROM is 16K, so that is 16384 minus 768, which gives us 15616, which is the memory location that we need to get from there. Now, I just happen to have an emulator called Fuse that has all the Spectrum ROMs. So if you don't have this, then you'll need to get it from someplace else. But I'm going to use this path anyway to get my ROMs because I want to get the byte data from there, and I'm going to save it as a bytes file, and then I am going to then read it into Unity, and then we'll create a class from that. So that's the sort of plan from it. This is a sort of aside to the what do you call it? It'll come to me. This is an aside from the Manic Miner project. So if I do string, oh, actually I just need to do var, don't I? Because this is outside of Unity. This is just me inside Visual Studio, so I can actually use all the sort of full version of C#. So I think we're in version 7. I think this takes us in version 7 of C#, maybe version 6 actually. Whatever version it is, we've got all the sort of niceties of it. So file is all of that, and then /48.rom is the name of the file. So I want to open that file, and I want to open it for binary read, but I also want to write out a file locally just to where we are here, because I'm going to copy it manually myself. This is just a super simple program. I'm spending a lot of time explaining this rather than actually doing it. This would normally take me like 5 seconds to write. It's a throwaway program. This is the sort of ideal situation for programs, is you have a particular need, and you execute it. So excuse me a second. Sorry about that, I had to chase the cat there. Okay, so this is just a throwaway program, just a few lines of code, and I mean I'll save it for posterity, but it's just a throwaway piece of code. So using stream s equals file dot open read file, using binary reader, new binary reader s, and these are all inside this here. And the reason why I'm using for those of you who don't know, is that stream and binary reader are both disposable objects. So this is just a short form of saying, okay, I'm going to use stream and I'm going to use binary reader. When I'm finished with them, automatically dispose them. Otherwise I have to do it manually by doing like s dot dispose down here, and it just takes, if we have a mechanism that does it for us, it's easier to do it, to get it to do it for us, rather than for us trying to remember. And we can actually also just put in var here as well, because these are known types. So open read returns a stream, and binary reader takes in a stream as well. So that's the reason why we have that there. Now what I want to do is I want to move to this location. I want to move to this location here. which is 15616, and then I want to read out the rest of the bytes and then write that to a new file. So I'm going to do s.seek, and then it's going to be 15616, and then the seek origin is the beginning. And then I want to read in the 768 bytes from that point into a buffer. So I'm going to create a buffer, which is just an array of bytes. And remember, the smallest piece of memory in a computer is a byte. It's one character, so it's between 0 and 255, and that's all you can fit inside a byte. So I'm going to call that buff equals, and then it's going to do r.read byte, and then I'm going to specify 768 because that's the length of the specky char set. And then I am going to write out a binary file. So I'm going to do using var out, or call it o, equals file dot open write, and then I'm going to call this char set dot byte, and then I'm going to do using var writer equals new binary writer output, and then I'm going to do w.write, and then I'm going to specify buff because I want to write out everything to the buffer. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do. We've got like 36 lines of code. Most of it is cruft, actually. Can get rid of all of this. So we're down to 31 lines of code, and that's it. So we open the file. We open a binary reader so we can get access to nice things like read bytes, because without that we can't read complicated items of data. We're going to move to 15,616 bytes into the file. I could also have done seek, seek, and then 768, comma seek origin dot end, and then it would go back from that end, but I'll just leave it as this. I want to read in the next 768 bytes, and then I want to write that out to charset.byte, and that's it. That's the end of my program. So when I run it, it compiles, runs, closes, and that's it. That's all the program does. Now how to get that file is I'm going to go to File, Open Folder in File Explorer, and then I go to bin, debug, and you see we have our charset.bytes there, and it should be exactly 768 bytes, which is what it is. So that's great. Okay, so I can close this program now. Close that, and I can bring back up Unity. So my spectrum of font, I actually want to have it so that it's a big giant screen. So I am going to create, that's the room, that's importer, that's the helpers. I'm going to do something very similar to the sprite texture. So the sprite texture, actually, could I get away with just doing the sprite texture? No, I can't, because I want to do something similar to sprite texture. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, yeah, I kind of want to do. Okay, I want to have something similar to the sprite texture. So I'm going to call this folder here ZX Spectrum, and I'm going to call this char screen. So my char screen is going to be mono behavior, and I am going to read in the binary file at the start when I bring this up. So I have my resources in here, and I have my Manic miner, which is a bytes folder. So I'm going to just drag my char set over into my resources. So now I have my char set there. So I've got my Manic Miner game and I have my char set for the spectrum. So inside my awake, I am going to do, what am I going to do? I am going to do, well, I want to load the spectrum font. I want to load the spectrum font, so I want to do text asset. Actually, I can just do var ta equals resources dot load text asset, and that just loads it into memory. I should probably specify what what I'm doing. So that is public string, and then it'll be char set resource. And I'm going to call that char set just to default it to that. And I'm going to call char set resource. So as soon as this script wakes up, it's going to load that file into memory, and then I'm going to get the bytes from it. So I just want to get the byte, just the raw bytes from there. So I'm going to call this char set, for lack of a better word, and I'm going to say char set equals ta.byte. Maybe I can't do that. Let me try array.copy, and then I want to do the source array, and I want to do the destination array, and then I want to do the size of the array. Actually, the size of the array would be ta.bytes. Oops. Dot count length. Okay. And I think I have to reserve that as well, so I'm going to have to do char set equals new byte ta.bytes.length. So load the resource, sorry, I'm tied up in here, from disk, reserve memory to load the char set. Copy the loaded char set into the member field buffer. Okay. Now there's a couple of things that we need to do in order to get this to actually work. So that's the first step. The first step is to load the data from disk. So I'm going to wrap this in a method. So I'm going to call this load char set. And then another method I want to do is I want to have a method that creates a texture, and then we access that as well. So I also need public material pixel perfect. So that's our pixel perfect material. Pixel perfect material. The char set resource file name. Actually, that should be a tooltip as well. Okay. And then I want to do create texture. And that is going to be private void create texture. Because I'm going to write, every time you write to the texture, I'm going to, it's going to, or rather you're going to call it generate, and then that's going to generate the texture based from that. So, okay, so internally I want texture 2D. I'll just call that text. And that's going to be text equals new texture 2D, and then the width is 256, 192, which strangely enough is the size of a spectrum screen. And we have that there, and then where are we? So that's the texture 2D. And then when we update it, so that's the private methods. The public methods are going to return that texture 2D once we write things to it. So I want to have public void CLS, public void print at, and then the print at is going to be the message, and then it's going to be an X and a Y coordinate, and that is going to be X is going to be less than or equal to 31, and Y is going to be less than or equal to 23, and they've got to be greater than 0, so we can figure that out there. And then what I want to do is I want to do texture 2D. What am I going to call this? I guess apply. Let's call it apply. And then what we'll do is we will do return text. So the apply will do that, but we will actually, what will we be doing? We will, I'm going to keep this very simple, this print at. I'm not going to, I was going to create a buffer. I had it in my head I was going to create a buffer, but I'm not going to create a buffer. I'm going to say apply text to there. So that is the actual strings themselves. That's going to draw the text. And then CLS is going to clear that there. So I'm going to have an internal class, and that internal class is going to be text messages. Actually, it's going to be text message, and that's going to have public string message, and that's going to get and a private set, and public int x get private set, public int y get private set. So none of this needs to go outside the class. This is just internally to the class, this text message. We're not doing anything outside that. Now we also need to make sure that this is going to draw in different colors. Again, I'm not going to cover that in this video. I just want to get everything black and white so that we can do the right thing. So get it functionally working just now. So I'm going to have list text message, and I need to add my system collection generic, and that's going to be messages, for want of a better word. And inside where are we? Apply text, create text, load. So create texture. So this is going to be inside your awake function. So inside awake is going to have messages equals new list messages, and then load the character set, create the texture. So that's going to do that. Could probably do that in one, but it doesn't really matter. The create texture. What I want to do, I want to do color fill. I want to fill this all with black for now. Equals new color, and then it's going to be 256 times 192. And I want to do array dot. Can I do fill? No. Don't know if there is. Sort true false. I can do it for each. For each. Okay, for each is actually pretty good. For each in fill, what I want to do is I want to equals color dot black. Is that going to let me do that? Sometimes Unity's a bit funny with these things. I know this looks the weirdest thing you've ever seen. Just bear with me. So array for each, I think is a link extension. No, it's part of the array. Okay, I thought it was an extension. Is it not an extension? Okay, whatever. So this iterates through every item inside the array. So that's the array there. So for each item in this array, and then it takes, the next part of that is an action. And an action is literally just a method. So I could have done void, void make black color C, and then C equals color dot black, and then I could have put that in there, but that it doesn't quite work like that. So it's actually better to do it this way. So that what this does is this performs the action on the particular object inside that array. So it says take that item in there and then turn it into whatever this value is, and then place that value back in the array. So it's actually a lot better to do it, because I would have to have created another method, and this is nice sort of syntactic sugar to get around that, and it means we can do it in one line. We don't need to do for loops, we don't need to do nested for loops or whatever. So that clears that up. So create the texture, draw the texture. Actually, we should make it transparent. New color 0000. Should make it transparent. Create the texture that represents the text mode, the specky. Fill the spectrum screen with transparency. C. Transparency. Okay. And then I'm going to create another. So this is just the spectrum screen. I want to keep this. Oops, I don't want a namespace either. Let's get rid of the namespace. So I want to keep this separate. So I want to have this as I want another one that will apply the spectrum screen itself. So I'm going to have another class, and then this class is going to do the update changes. So we don't want to do it every tick. We just want to do it when it's necessary. So I want to change this. What am I going to call this? Let's call it text screen refresher. So we'll call this a text screen refresher because it refreshes the screen. That's all it does. And requires component type of, and then it needs a text char screen, and that's a Unity engine. That's a Unity engine one. Wide awake. So let's grab a reference to that first of all. So we'll do char screen CS. So CS equals get component. Oh, this has got to be a mono behavior. Get component char screen. So we're going to get a reference to the char screen because I don't want to mess everything up inside here. In fact, we could probably not have the other one as a mono behavior because it probably doesn't need to be a mono behavior. In fact, doesn't need to be a mono behavior. It doesn't, but it does need this information here. So what I'm going to do is Well, it needs that. It needs a material, so I can't really get around it. Okay. So I could probably do this as one component, is what I'm thinking, but yeah, let's leave it as one component just now. Let's leave it text refresher just now. Okay, so CLS is going to be dead easy because it's actually just going to be this. So I am going to do this. So I'm going to say I'm going to call CLS on this. So CLS is now going to do this. So it's going to do messages.clear. So it's going to remove all the messages. So remove any messages that are in the queue to be displayed. And then I'm going to fill this here. So then I'm going to do text.set pixels. And then the colors are going to be the fill. And then text.apply. Okay. I don't know if you need to do the get pixels first. I think you can probably just get away with doing set pixels because we have the right size. So let's just see if we can get away with it this first of all. So CLS gets called when we load the texture. Okay, so I am going to do that just now. So I'm going to attach it to the room loader test. Char screen, okay, and it needs the pixel perfect material. It's already got char set there. And we should probably have a target as well because the target is going to have. Actually, that's why we need that because we do need the text refresher. So I need to get that component from there. So that's why we need that. Okay. I knew there was a reason why. So spectrum screen. So I'm going to create another empty object, and this is going to be called text screen. And I'm going to give this a sprite renderer. Nope. Sprite renderer. So it's going to have a sprite on there. And it is located at 0, 0, 0, which is right. Now, the texture, actually the sprite renderer probably shouldn't be at 0, 0, 0 for the screen. It should probably be across there, but we'll see what we get. I'm a bit concerned the fact that we're gonna put it here and then it's gonna center around this point because it's the texture. But we'll see what happens. Okay. So our char screen has to kind of know about that target there. So I'm going to say public sprite renderer target I'll just call it target. Okay, so for target, apply text. This is going to say, should we do, should we do that for the, oh yeah, it does that in there. Okay, that's fine. So apply applies the text. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to call CLS on apply text because I always want to clear the screen. We probably don't even need to expose that as being public, but we'll leave that just now. And then for each message in messages, what I want to do is I want to do print message and then the message and then the X value. Multiplied by 8 and then the Y value. multiplied by 8. And then I have another private method in here called void print message, string message, int x, int y. And then this is going to do the sort of hard work for us. So our x here is going to be message dot message, and then that's going to be message dot x. And then this here is going to be message dot y. Oops, y. Okay. So that's going to print our message at x and y. And then what we want to do is we want to display this on the screen. Now the way we display this on screen is going to be very similar to our sprite texture. So our sprite texture is this part here that says take this line here and then draw it onto the screen. Colors, bright line value. So where are we going to do this? And this is why you should do comments, because I'm looking at this and I can't remember what the heck this was. So index equals underscore height minus 1 minus index. You guys remember that? I don't. Okay, but this is the one that we want here, is this one here. Okay, so this is the value we want here. Oh, this is the code that we want here. So for each, so the x and y position is going to be print message. So actually what I want to do is I want to color pixels equals text dot get color get pixels, and then I want to send the pixels there as well. So I want to send the pixels to that point there. So I want to do color pixels because I need access to each individual pixel so that I can draw things on the screen. And then what I want to do is I want to say text.set pixels, and then it'll be pixels, text.apply. Now, I think that's okay. I think that's okay. All right. So what I want to do is I want to say the starting point of that x and y is int start index equals and it's the y value y times 256 plus x, and then I've got to say pixels, actually it's PTR, isn't it? PTR is the start value of that, and then the line value is the start point inside that character, because each character, let me just show you the Spectrum font here. I'm uploading the first Manic Miner video and it's at 50%. So the Manic ZX Spectrum font. Keyboard font? No, not keyboard font. Images. Let me see if it's got a breakdown of it. Does it? Does it? We. That's unfortunate. There's a great diagram in the Spectrum manual that came with it, and it showed how those things break down, but Yeah, it doesn't seem to have it. So if we look at this, we can see though that these characters here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's actually a blank line either side of there, and that makes up the 8x8 character grid. So we have to draw this 1 byte at a time, and where we get that in memory from is we need to get the pointer into memory of each character. So we've got to say for each char in message, do all of this. Okay, and then for each character, we need to say the offset into char set is equal to, and then it's going to be the character, whatever the character is, minus space, because that is our start value. Now this looks a bit weird, but basically the ASCII value for space is 32, and that's our start character is 32. So if the character is a space, that means the offset into the character set is going to be 0, because it's going to be space minus space, which is going to give us 0. And then that is going to be our line value. So for int line value equals offset into char set, line value, no, that's the line value, that's got to be for int c equals 0, c less than 8, c++, because this is going to go for every single line. Whew, this is crazy. And then this is for every line, and this is for every pixel. Okay. So for every line, we're doing that. And then we do the line value equals offset into character set plus C. And that gives us our offset into the character set. And then at the end of that for loop, we want to increment PTR, because PTR needs to get incremented by 32, because we need to move it down to the next line, because every time we do a line, we need to move it onto the next line, and that next line is another 32 characters, because we're going across all that way, all the length of the array. So we need to add that to 32, and then that should be our print message. Now this is just blech. So we could break this down and make that into smaller chunks, but we'll leave it as is just now, because I want to make sure this is right, and then we can build it and we can try it out. Okay, so that is our char screen there. Now for our, unfortunately we just have a room renderer, so I'm going to put a hacky thing in here. So hack this does not belong here, public char screen. So I'm going to say char screen is there, and then I'm going to say at the end down here where we get the room data, blah 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 blah, and then I'm going to say char screen dot print at, and then the message is going to be data dot room name, and then the x is going to be 0 and the y is going to be 16, because we're going to print on the 16th line, and this hopefully should print the name of the room underneath the character set after we've done all this. So there's a lot of typing we've done, but we've got everything that we need to do. I still think there's a couple of issues, but let's see if we've got it right. Okay, so room loader test. I'll add my char screen here, and I need a target, which is the text screen, and I need the pixel perfect material, which is there, and then the background. What else have I got here? Did I take all these out? Yeah, that's right, background's there. Loader's there. The other thing I need to do is char set apply sprite renderer target. Where's the target? So the target's that. So inside awake, I need to do target dot material equals pixel perfect material, because I want to apply the pixel perfect material, and then I want to apply the text. So apply text, this is internal, this one. So apply text, I'm going to make that as public, and I'm going to say target dot sprite equals sprite dot create, apply, and then the rectangle is going to be 0, 0, 256, 192, vector 2.0. I'm going to leave it as 0 just now. Pixels per unit is 1, extrude is 0. I think that's us. Sprite mesh type full rect height. I think we just left it as that, didn't we? I think that was all we needed to do. And then I think that's it. Apply text, clear, print message for each messages. Okay. So print at, so that's what I need to do, is the print at there. So I'm going to say messages equals new, and then it's going to be text message, not messages. So that's going to be messages dot add new text message. I never did a constructor. What? Whew. Text message. Y message equals message, x equals x, y equals y. And we're done. Are we? Maybe. So that will give us that. And x and y, apply text. Okay, I think that's all we need. And then inside here, which is a bit hacky, we do the print at, and then we do char screen dot apply text. So this is hack. This does not belong here. So we need to figure out some way to get out of that, because the this requires the room store, so this should be separate. We shouldn't have to set these values internally. So I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to set the pivot value that way and down, but we'll see what we get. Well, we're getting nothing. Do we get any error messages? We're getting one. Room renderer. Char screen is not set. Char screen is not set. Oh, there you go, char screen. Okay, we just need to drag and drop that into there, and we should be good to go. Unless Unity crashes, which is possible. Has it crashed? It's not recursive. Print screen, apply text. Oh, you know what? Maybe it is. For print message. For each line value, pixels plus equals. So that's going to the next line. That's that one there. I think that's good. Oh yeah, there you go. It's just taking its time. So Stack Overflow. line 46. What did I do? What did I do? 46. Set pixels fill. What's happening? Line 76, 79, sorry. Equals apply, texture target sprite equals sprite create apply, apply text. So apply text then calls 84. Oh, that calls apply text. Whoops. Right, so we don't need this at all. What we need to do is we need to do text in there, and then that should be it, I think. Oh, well, that'll stop the stack overflow from happening. Okay, that's better. We're still not getting anything, but it's better. Text screen. So what do we get for text screen? So there's a text screen there, and of course it's upside down around the back, the wrong way. So that is going the wrong way. So what we need to do is we need to do that as our sprite create is not going to be 0, it's going to be new vector 2, and it's going to be 0 minus 1. Actually 0, 1, maybe. It's going to be the pivot. Okay, well that's better. So there's the screen there, which is right, it's the right size, and it is doing it at, if I go to 0, 0, 0, that's it zeroed in on there, which is also right. And well, that game's clipping. Why is that? Did I get that wrong? I think I got the render wrong for that. Let's fix that. Room renderer. So the start room is 0. That's right. Why is that out? That wasn't out before, was it? I've just never noticed it. Because that shouldn't be there. That's 0, 0, and that should be down. Why is that? Oh, we're going dark. Okay, well let's find out why the text isn't working first of all. So that's apply text, and then, do you know why I think it is? I think it's because this has got to be I think what I need to do is, let me just change this to let me just change it to that, and then I'm going to change that to list. Hi.
Hello. Sorry.
What do you want? You know, you interrupted me. You You might as well say what you want to say.
I want to say
Hi.
hi.
Door. Okay, and I want to set that there, and then I want to say pixels dot what the dot to array. That should fix that, and then I think it'll work. So just change everything to a list. I think it's because this is doing a copy constructor, so it just copies it blindly. It doesn't actually keep the reference. I think that's what's wrong. Nope. Let's get rid of the background objects there. So yeah, it's still not displaying anything. Why? Why you no work? Let me just go to here. So attach to Unity. Do you know why it is? It's because I keep clearing the screen. Because when I clear the screen, it deletes everything. So I don't want to. I want to say bool clear messages equals false. If not, clear messages clear. Okay, so only clear if I specify that it's got to be cleared. So that CLS is there, and then I'm going to have, I'm just going to leave it as that. That's fine. And then anytime I do a CLS, all it's going to do is it's just going to clear out the colors that are applied to the texture. So now print this. Oh, come on. Why? Yeah, it's just not doing it. Do you know what? It could also be the fact that they're all nothing. So okay, let's just check then. So we'll do that there, and then I'll attach to Unity. Actually, that offset into chars is wrong because that should also be that gets that, but that's going to be multiplied by 8. So that's going to get me multiplied by 8. Otherwise, it's just not going to get the right value because every character is an 8 by 8 pixels, which means it's an 8 by 8. Ah, just it's killing me here. What's wrong? Okay, let's set the text to be something that we know it's going to be there. So instead of room data, we're going to set that to xxx, comma 0, comma 16. Okay, so that's going to set it to be xxx. That's our first thing. So we're going to attach to Unity there, and we're going to run it, and then fingers crossed that's going to work. Otherwise, I'm going to cry. Well, there you go. It's just not being called. Ha! Print message is not being called. Why is print message not being called? Why is that not being called? Is this not being called? That doesn't make any sense. Apply text. There you go. Print that. So char screen should have messages. Let me just turn off hex display. So okay, and then we do print that there. Why is messages 0? If clear messages. Whoops. Okay. My bad. I'm dumb. Well, we're getting something. That's not the right thing, but we're getting something. So we're getting that, which is just wrong. So that's XX, XX apparently. It's also not applying the filter as well, because that looks decidedly not sharp. Pixel perfect. Oh yeah, because I had to change the filter in the image as well, didn't I? Wait. I need to do, yeah, this one here. Okay. So in the char screen, the same thing needs to get done for text. Where are we? Text equals 256. 256. So yeah, I had to do that for there, and then CLS, and we'll set that to be true because we want to clear everything for to get started. And then, okay, so what am I doing wrong at this point here? So I want to go through here and I want to say whatever the value is for every bit in the mask. So I want to say the mask is that. If that bit has been set, I want to set that point, that pixel, to be color white. So we need to change that. Actually, we don't need to change that because we're going to do that in the shader. And then the next line says add 32 to the next line. Now, is that right? So if I have a line here and I want to move to the next line and I'm at the very top, I add 32 to it. 32, is that right? That sounds right, but it's not right, is it? Because it's actually 32 times 8, which is 256. I move to the next line, which is 256. I should have known that because I want to move, because it's pixels we're moving it by. Whoa. Whoa. Pointer plus equals 256. What? What is that? Let me just leave it as 32 just now. I know it's wrong, but why am I getting that? Char screen 46. Array size must be at least width times height. Oh, I think the problem is, okay, the problem is I need to get the colors from there. So I need to do text dot get pixels, because it's got to be in the right color, they've got to be in the right format, I think. And then for each of those pixels, and then want to apply that color. I think that's what the problem is. No. Well, I don't know why. So if I make that red, is that just going to be bright red? Because there shouldn't be any transparency on there whatsoever. Yeah, there's something weird going on here. Let me just not have this just now, because I'm only printing one message anyway. What is going on here? Okay, so let's go back to this one here. So that's got to be 256 because it's got to move on to the next line. So it's 256 pixels down the line from there. So that should XXX. Well, XXX. So the first character is that. So then that's got to be. I've got to store. So I've got to store the current pointer in there. So I've got to say int Peter copy equals PTR, and then at the end of this, I've then got to say PTR equals PTR copy because I've got to move to the next character along, which is PTR plus plus, because I've got to move along to the next byte. Whew. Yeah, so this is moving me, so this line here moves me down a line, and then this line here restores the original pointer, and then I'm adding 1 to it, and then we go back in here and it copies it again, and then it goes down and copies the remainder lines, then it moves to the next character along. So it's doing all of the lines inside here, and then it does all of the lines inside here. Okay. Got a feeling this is good. Well, what is going wrong? Also, that doesn't sit right as well. That's a bugging me now. Okay, so there's lots of things that are broken in this. I should just give it an early night. Okay, so that's got to be line value is offset into chars plus C. Line value is equal to that. Okay, let's just print out the characters. So instead of doing all of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to print out the first X number of bytes. So I'm going to say for int I equals 0, I less than 64, I plus plus, and I'm going to say this is my line value part here, so that's going to be that. So this is me debugging now, and then that's going to be J, and then my line value, int line value equals, and then it's going to be, oh wait, I know why. I know exactly why. Because I'm an idiot. It's line value, but it is line value is an index into the char array. So it's char set that. It's not line value itself. It's just a line value is an index. So I want it to be there. So I apologize for all the people shouting and screaming at me. You're right. Sorry. Well, it's X, but of course it's X 1 pixel along. It's actually got to be plus equals 8 pixels along because we're doing it character based, so it's plus 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 plus. So here we go. This is XXX. There you go. Okay. So we now have XXX. Which means that if we go down to here, where are we? Inside the room renderer. So instead of having XXX, we now have our room data. It should now print this correctly. Well, that's upside down. Of course it is. It's also not 16 either. That's 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 8. Why is that not 16? 8. Char screen. So that's going to be y. Today y times 8. Yeah. So I'm doing y times 8. And then that's going to be y times 8 times 256, which seems right to me. So if I'm at 10, that's 80 times 256, which seems about right. Plus x, which could be 1, so that would be 8. So pixels PTR. Is that right? Sorry, I'm staring at this and I'm not getting any further. So that would be the line value. So instead of line value plus C, that's going to be plus 7 minus C. And that'll get us the right way around. Because we need to invert it. So we get central cavern, which is right. But that's 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it should be here. Central cavern. Is that right? 16? Animator screens. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16. So it should be 16. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it should be this line here. Because of course we've got one stray line at 0, 0, 0. Because I know why. Because the pivot point for that is wrong. So if I go to my sprite texture, the pivot point is, where's the pivot point? The pivot point should be set to 1 for the sprite texture. So now this should now Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Char screen pivot point is 0, 1. That's right. Why you no work? Flip material order. Why are you not working? So that's 15. That's not 15 now, that's 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. That's not 15. Why is that doing that? I think the pivot point's right there, so the room renderer's got to be wrong then. So 0, 0, 0, add sprite. At that format, XY, add sprite. Sprite render, sprite component. That's the problem with the sprite texture. Sprite, that seems wrong. Why is that? Block room data, sure. Is each block, and then the importer. The importer brings in each block, creates a sprite texture, which the pivot point is wrong, so that's going to be new vector 2 0, 1. There you go. There's your bug. So now this should be boom. There we go. Okay, so why is central cavern not there? Okay, so that's right. That screen's perfect now. So all these blocks are now in the right position. So why is central cavern not there? So that's 256 multiplied by 8 gives me one line. 256 multiplied by 8 gives me one line. And then multiply by, oh, that's why, because I've got to multiply it by 8 again. Char screen, and then that's going to be 256 times 8. Seems an awful lot. But I guess, yeah, it's far too much. So y times 8 is going to give me, so 1 is going to give me 8, so 8 times 256 is going to give me 8 times 256, which is what, 2k? No, that can't be right. Times 256, 2k. That's definitely not right. Because it's y times 32 times 8, which is 256. It's late. I just want to point that out. Yeah, that's going to be the exact same again. Why is that? So 16. So if I do room data, Okay, let's be logical about this. So if I go to room renderer and then I do 0, 0, that should print at the top of the screen, right? That explains a lot, because that is 0, 0, 0 down there. That makes sense. Okay, I am an idiot. So I have to spin that around. So I've got to say that that is because the starting point for a texture is down the bottom left then. I mean, I could verify that looking up the docs, but I'm not going to bother because it looks like that's exactly what's happening. So if I then say, where's room render? So that's 16 there. I should then, inside the char screen, I should say then that the Y value is 192 minus whatever this is, which in this case will be 256 plus X. So this will give us the right value. So we should start seeing central cavern. Why 192? Because it's not. It's the opposite of that. It's okay, so if I do, it's going to be 24. So it's going to be 24, 23 minus that multiplied by 8. And then that should get us where we want it to be. Central cavern. So if we then change that to 2, or the second room, we should get the coal store. And then 3 is wacky amoebatrons, I think. Abandoned uranium workings. 4. Eugene's lair. 5. Processing plant. 6. The vat. 7 is Minor Willie meets the Conch Beast. In Spectrum font and everything. Pixel perfect. Loving it. And then we can have a look at the last screen as well, which we never looked at before, which is number 19. Oh no. Number 19's not there. What? Glitch? Where's number 19? Am I not reading in number 19? What? Snapshot importer. Sprite texture. Nope. I want room store. Eyes less than 20. I've got to have room, surely. Right. Room 20's got to be there. There's 20. 19. There you go. 19. So why is it not working? Why is it out of range? Key not found. In line 44 of the room renderer. Room renderer. Line 44. Oh, okay. So I'm going to say if data.blocks dot contains key after continue. Hack something very wrong with room 19. So maybe there's something weird to do with room 19. Actually, I think you only need to collect one key, and I think that probably has got something to do with the blocks data. So we'll probably need to come back to figure that out. But 19 should work now. Yes, the final barrier. And so Willie starts there, he jumps along there, gets there, and then jumps in here, and then it's game over. Sweet. Okay. So why is the text screen doing that? Let me change that to 0 alpha. I know that's probably not gonna render anything, is it? Probably gonna get nothing now. Yeah, I'm not gonna get anything. So the color has got to be full on there. So why? So why is the text renderer? So we can get rid of this. No, keep this. Get the pixels. So get the pixels for each, set the color there, set the fill for each, and then apply. And then apply the text, CLS. Set the pixels. Clear the pixels, set the pixels. Everything looks okay. I think we've done enough tonight. We'll leave this for just now, and we'll pick it up in another video.